If you're not familiar with the term dyscalculia, you may have heard of the word dyslexia. And dyslexia is when you have a reading difficulty which causes your brain to process letters and words differently, so you find it difficult to read at times. But I have difficulty with dyscalculia, which is similar to dyslexia except it's with numbers. And this whole thing, my whole dyscalculia situation is pretty weird because math was one of my strongest subjects. And in school, like in 6th grade, I believe it was, I participated in this competition. And it was kind of like with all the elementary schools came together and there was this elimination process. And our 6th grade teacher, there were like 4 different subjects or whatever. And he said that he would take us to Hacienda if we won, or we, placed high or whatever. I was able to get involved in the math portion, and I remember going through like a couple rounds, and I ended up, placing high because I was one of the ones that was able to go to this Hacienda party during the school day. I don't know what it is, maybe since I've gotten older or whatever, or maybe I just really didn't notice it then, but I have difficulty at times with numbers. If the people will say, like, if you have dyslexia, then you see letters backwards and things like that. Everybody's brain is different, but like with my dyscalculia, I don't see numbers reversed and all like that. That's not how it manifests in me. So let me give you an example. Earlier, I was installing an app, and they sent these those security codes to your phone so that you can access like the 2-step authentication process. So the number was something like let's say it was like 9135, I don't know. Here, let me find something with numbers because I'm gonna forget it. Okay, so I have this receipt here. Okay, so this is how it shows up in my brain. So let's say they have the number 6897. And so let's say I need to take this number from this receipt and type it into my computer. So in my head, the number is printed 68. It'll read as 6987. But then I'll actually type the correct number. So that's what happened. Like the numbers got switched around as I processed it in my head, but then the end result ended up being correct. Sometimes the end result isn't correct. And so that's the numbers just kind of like switch places in my head, like that from the written source or maybe even verbally, to whatever use I am having for it. So like when people give me numbers, it's like, can you just say like the numbers? So they'll say something like 5019 or something like that. So is it 59? It's like it's 5019. Just say the individual letters, because then it's like 59. So it's 5919. So then it's 5019, and then it's just like this whole level of processing that I have to go through to make sure that the numbers are correct. So now that I'm in this gig thing and I have to use numbers a lot because you're delivering to people's homes, sometimes I have to read the numbers in my head different ways. Like, for example, if the address, I'll go back to this. So if the address is 136, I'll tell myself 136 or 136. On days where I'm like especially tired or just having a rough time, I will like literally say the address as an individual numbers. So if the address is 136, I was in my head 136, because I don't know, I'm just not doing well with processing numbers that day. So there are a lot of addresses that are 5 digits, and so what I have started to do, instead of being like, so like, let's say a number on here, all right, so let's say the address was 20642. So I will separate the first number, and then the last 4 or the last 3, because there's a 0, will be the address that I'm looking for, because there are just too many numbers for me to remember. So that's how I'm able to work around the number issues that I tend to have when it comes to like the delivery process. I give praise to the Most High that I haven't really had any issues. There were times when I delivered to the wrong address, but like, for example, the Spark app, because they were going off of, I guess, coordinates, and they were actually taking me to the wrong house. So on those situations, that wasn't on me. But that's how I work around this dyscalculia, by just trying to just kind of make it easier on myself, eliminate there's 5 numbers in the address, kind of eliminate that first number and work on the, just try to recall the last 4 numbers. And I'm always looking at the address multiple times. That's just how I process, and I know that I have a tendency of swapping letter places, so that is something that I'm always being mindful of when I'm out here making the deliveries. And then just everyday life, trying to recall phone numbers or write down phone numbers. So I'm like, so I try to say like every individual number, because like, yeah, if you don't have this issue, you probably like, well, what in the world are you talking about? But yeah, and the way I process numbers, I see them, like literally I see them correctly, but as it goes into my head and works its way around the neurons and the circuit, it comes out differently. So I just have to be mindful of that. So yeah, I'm out here, and people with different abilities, if you will, can get into this gig field, and you do your thing. Just make sure that you know what your limitations are, know what your strengths and weaknesses are, and you just learn from them, and you just create hacks so that you can be successful out here. So that's my little Dyscalculia story. So if you have any disabilities or different abilities, yeah, let me know how you are working around those and how you compensate for those. All right, see you in the next one.